Awesome. Thanks so much for coming back. I know last time we talked a little bit about you wanting to work on some family stuff. So in order to get started with that, we're going to do something called a genogram, which is just basically like a family map, but it talks a little bit about the different types of relationships that you have with different people, just kind of give me an idea of what we got going on. So there's a simpler version and a more complicated version. Um, Basically, all of our colors have certain meanings. So blue and red are typically our abuse or our hostile, violent kind of relationships, and green is happy or harmony. You're going to use black whenever you write out each individual person and then what their gender is. That's kind of how we identify people with this. So I will go ahead and show you briefly before you get started. So let's see. I am a female, so I'm gonna draw a circle for me. Put me right there. I am married, so I will put my spouse right there. And we have 3 kids. So we actually have 2 adopted kiddos, but for the sake of simplicity in just this example, I'm just going to kind of that. So that's my daughter, my son, and then my son. Now I could go up and also put that I have a mom. So that could be mom and a dad. So anything that outlines your actual like family tree, you're going to do in black. Then what I can do is go in with all of my colors and just show the type of relationship. So I have a pretty harmonious relationship with my son. I have a decent relationship with him. And then I'm also pretty close with my daughter. I have a harmonious relationship with my dad. Let's say, for argument's sake, that me and my mom do not get along at all. In fact, we are cut off, so we don't talk at all. I would symbolize that like that. And that's right here too. So using this as kind of an example, and this, I will give you some time to work on your genogram. Awesome. Okay, so now that you have all of your family members on there, we're going to go through them, and I want you to tell me a little bit about who they are in relationship to you, and then we'll talk about what type of relationship you guys have. So you pick where to start. Who do you want to do first?
I will start at the top.
Okay, so who is this?
That is my maternal grandmother.
Okay, so your grandma, and it looks like since you've got that extra cross that she's deceased.
Yes.
Okay, sorry for your loss. Okay, so with people who are deceased, you kind of have 2 options. We can either leave it as it is because they don't have an impact on you physically since they're not here. Or we can go ahead and describe the type of relationship that you had with them when they were alive, because that does have an impact on how you grieve them, how you mourn them, and kind of the legacy that they leave. So I will let you choose whichever one you decide to go with. You're going to draw a line from me to grandma in whichever style you think fits best. So how would you describe your relationship with her?
We were very close.
Okay. So our green ones are going to be kind of our close relationship. So which one of those do you think fits best?
Probably best friends slash very close.
Okay, awesome. So then you're just going to kind of redo this on here from one to the other. Beautiful. All right. Who do we want to do next?
I'll go with my mother.
Your mom? Okay. And so it looks like she's also deceased.
Yes.
So what would you, and again, you have the same choice. You can either leave it as it is because she's not around anymore, or you can put the type of relationship that you did have with her. Beautiful. So it looks like you had a lot of love for your mom.
Yes,
Great. Awesome. All right. Who do we want to do next?
my father.
Okay. So it looks like dad is also gone. You have had a lot of death that you've had to experience.
Yes.
That's really hard. Okay. What would you want to do about dad? So it's important to note that with our blue, which is represents all of our abuse and neglect, you're going to do the arrow from the person who perpetrated to the person who was abused. So make sure that the arrow is pointing to either you or to dad if you felt, however you felt the abuse occurred. So if I'm reading that correctly, it looks like there's been some emotional abuse from your dad to you.
Yes.
So I think we've got, oh, did you want to put something?
Yes, actually, I
Okay.
wanted to add one more.
Okay. So if you're going to add two, you can just put it to the side of it so that we can fully see which two you're actually going to do and kind of work on both of those. Okay. So it looks like we've got some emotional abuse and then also some neglect.
Yes.
All right. So what I would say is we've got a lot of stuff that we can work on just right here. Or if there's any other relationships that you feel are really important to you, then I would recommend putting those too. One of the things that I'm noticing is that all of your positive relationships have been with people who are deceased. So do you have any positive relationships or support systems with people who are currently living? It looks like these are maybe two brothers and a spouse or kids. So would you put a positive relationship with any of those people or support for any of those people?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do maybe one or two of those.
Would it be okay to add a circle in the middle?
Sure, absolutely. I love that. So it looks like maybe that was a different type of relationship.
Yes. Supposed to be red instead of green, but I'm colorblind.
That's okay. So for that one, are you going for discord or conflict or cut off?
Cut off.
Okay, so just put two little lines in between. You can fit them wherever. Beautiful. Awesome. Great. Cool. I love this. Okay. So looking at this and thinking about your life, what relationship or couple of relationships would you say impact you the most? And I want you to just put a little star next to the person's name, um, for the relationship that you feel like you want to maybe in therapy work through the most.
Do I have to use any particular color?
No, just a star next to any of them.
Will this be signifying positive or negative or both?
It can be either one. So let's think about this. I know you've said both of these people have deceased, but you had clearly really strong relationships with them. So those could be really healthy, positive relationships that we're struggling with right now because they're gone. Right. So, like, that could be an area that we could put for either one of those. So, you could say, hey, I'm really missing my mom. And so I want to focus on that relationship because I'm struggling with grief. Whereas with dad, it looks like maybe we had a really painful relationship with him, but he's also gone. And I don't know necessarily what the nature of this looks like for you right now, but maybe that's a negative relationship because now you're left with kind of having to process and deal with all of these feelings related to the abuse that you experienced. And so that's kind of a negative relationship that we're struggling to process through. So it could be either one, positive or negative, just the one you think, man, this is really hitting me hard. So like which one or two would you say that you're kind of struggling with the most?
Could I do, instead of a star, could I do positive or negative
Sure.
signs?
Absolutely. This is your genogram, so you can make it however you want. So it looks like, regardless, these are the three big relationships that you kind of want to work through together. These because they were positive, and so maybe we're struggling with the loss because they were so positive. And then maybe, if I'm understanding correctly, this one, even though it was a negative, like we're struggling with it because it was a negative experience and processing some of that.
That is correct.
Okay.
It's not the fact of the death itself, but the relationship and the absenteeism.
Sure. Yeah. So kind of processing through all of this without ever being able to have a conversation with that person again about what you experienced. Yeah, absolutely. I see right here that we have a cutoff relationship with this brother. Just before to check in before we kind of wrap up for today, is this important to you at all? And if it's not, and you're cool that it's all cut off, that's totally fine too. I just want to check in because this is one that we would also kind of maybe take a look at. But if you're like, nope, you know what, these are the three things that I want to focus on, then that's totally fine.
Well, that is my half brother, and he kind of took a step back from the family whenever our mom died. So that relationship has been very distant,
Mhm.
and I was trying to maintain that relationship, but did not get any reciprocating effort.
Okay. So maybe for right now, we'll just kind of leave that at bay since it sounds like maybe it's been cut off for a hot minute, and then just kind of focus on these three. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Awesome.